Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ruby and I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis in 2020. And today I'm going to be talking about a newer medication called Simlandi. Simlandi is a newer biosimilar to the medicine called Humira. It's a little bit different though. It has one added active ingredient. It's supposed to work the exact same. Many people have found success when they switched from Humira to Simlandi, but we're gonna talk about it today. The reason why I switched over to Simlandi from Humira is because my insurance company said that Humira was too expensive for them to be covering, so they switched me over to a cheaper biosimilar. For me, Humira worked great. I've been on it for over a year now. It put me in remission, no complaints. Still nervous to switch to Simlandi for two reasons. One reason is that some people did report becoming allergic to the medication or getting into a flare while the switchover, which is very possible. My second issue is that Simlandi only comes in the auto-injector pen. Now, a lot of people that use Humira do the auto-injector pen. I actually started with the auto-injector pen, but could not do it. Pretty much, if you're not familiar, the auto-injector pen is you press the pen up to wherever you want to inject it. There's a button on the top of the pen. You press it and it injects the needle, like a spring action needle, into your skin. You can't see it, and it auto-injects the medication. I like to be able to see my needle and control the speed when I inject medication, so I tried it 2 or 3 times with a nurse right next to me, had a panic attack every time, could not do it. When they switched me over to Humira syringe, it was easy peasy because I can see the needle, I can inject it at my own pace, you know, it was a breeze. Fortunately, when I switched over to Simlandi, I asked my doctor's office to make sure they get me the syringe version, but since Simlandi is a newer medication, they do not yet offer the syringe. Something to note too is that my doctor's office was told that the syringe was an option, but when it actually ended up at the specialty pharmacy, it is not an option. They're thinking about doing it, or it's in the works or something, so it says there's a syringe, but there's actually not. So I kind of got my hopes up. However, I'm hopeful for Simlandi because the auto-injector is a little bit different than the Humira injector, and let me explain why. So as I said before, the Humira injector you put up, you press the button on the top, and it would spit out the needle into your skin, auto-inject the medicine. Take a look at the Simlandi auto-injector. There's this little orange tip on the end. Orange tip actually moves. So when I go to press into my skin, the orange tip is going to slowly press into the pen. Inside the orange tip is actually the needle. It's currently in there now. As you're pressing the needle into your skin, the orange tip is going up. Once the orange tip reaches a certain point, it'll make a click sound. With Humira, that click sound was the needle injecting into your leg. Simlandi, that click sound is the medicine traveling through the needle into your body. So it's kind of a combination of a syringe and an auto-injector by Humira in a way, because I can control the speed of the needle, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, but it auto-injects the medicine. Here's another thing that I don't like about Simlandi is that there's not any videos out there on how to inject it. Of course, you have the nurse videos where they use like a fake piece of skin in a teaching auto-injector that doesn't actually have the medicine in, but I want to hear from real people that experience it and inject it into themselves and what it's like, and there's just no videos out there. Making this video for people that are in my situation right now to hopefully provide some comfort, some ease when injecting Simlandi. So I'm gonna open my Simlandi package now. It's been out of the fridge for about 20-ish minutes, so it should have warmed up. It comes in a very similar package to Humira, comes in a box, 2 in a box. And yeah, it looks like this. So there are instructions on the needle, and you can find instructions on the Simlandi website, on the box, but to me they're just so vague. That doesn't tell me how quickly I have to inject it. It doesn't tell me how the needle mechanism works. The second click is at the needle retracting. Like, it doesn't tell me any of the specifics. If you're like me and you're kind of nervous or have anxiety around medication, this is the stuff that we want to know, people. Come on. So I guess we're gonna figure it out together. So I have my Simlandi ready to go. Before I take the cap off, I am going to get my alcohol swab and swab my injection site. Now, normally when I inject my Humira, I do it in my stomach just because that's what I'm most comfortable with. But for this purpose, I'm gonna do my leg just because, like I said, I'm a little bit nervous with the auto-injector pen mechanism. So I'm just gonna do it in my leg just because it's a little less intimate of an area. You want to swab in circles. A nurse told me to go from the inwards out. If you just kind of rub vigorously, you're just spreading the germs around. So you push from the middle out, and it cleans the whole space. Something important to note is to wait until the alcohol dries on your skin before you inject. The reason being is it'll sting a little bit if you inject it while the alcohol is not dried. open my Simlandi for the first time. It says to open it with the tip pointing down. So I'm gonna pop off the cap. It's normal to see a drop of medicine, which I do see. And if you look inside, you can see the drop of medicine. If it'll focus, it might not focus. You can see the needle inside with the drop of medicine. Now, if you look at the inside, you can see those little divots that are right above like a guider. I'm assuming that when those little divots slide into that guider, that is when the medicine injects. That's the question. I don't know if the needle is going to spring out like in Humira, and that's the part I don't like. I don't want the needle to just spring out onto me. So I'm not exactly sure if the needle gets injected first and then it springs, or if it all happens at once. But you can see the needle mechanism in there. There's the needle and the little guiders that will, I'm assuming, inject the medicine. All right, we're gonna give it a try. Based off of what I have tried to figure out piece by piece online, is that the needle does not move. The needle is stationary. You press the orange part down, the needle enters the skin, you press down a little bit more, and then the medicine injects. So you can control the speed of the poke, I think, is from my understanding. If not, we're gonna find out real fast. I'm gonna use a straight leg, grab my skin. Okay, I'm gonna push down nice and slow. It looks like we have about an inch or so until the needle is going to break the surface of the orange tip. Oh, how easy does this orange part push? Okay, it pushes pretty easy. I'm gonna let you know if I feel the tip of the needle. Yep, I definitely feel the tip of the needle. This is great news because that means that the needle is not going to self-inject into my skin. I get to control the speed at which it enters. So that's really good news. That's what I was hoping for. Now we can continue with our injection. Grabbing my skin again, I'm gonna place it exactly where it was the first time. Okay. There's the tip of the needle. I feel it. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I can't tell if it's in or not, but the orange is almost down. Can you see it? Okay. I think the needle's in our skin, so we're gonna go ahead and give it one more push. And medicine's in. It does burn quite a bit. And the medicine's out of the syringe, loosely letting go. I'm gonna pick it up. Okay, let's review. Here's my injection site. As you can see, it does have a little tiny droplet of the medication and some blood on top. But I will say that the needle itself going in did not even feel it. The only part I felt was the actual medication being injected. It did sting quite a bit going into my leg. It was a very fast injection though, that only took, 4 seconds? You can tell in the video when you hear the click. So that first click was just the medicine going in. The needle was already in my leg. I didn't even feel it. The needle is tiny, 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 but the medicine did burn going in. I also wasn't pressing down all the way because I was going really slow, but I didn't have any medicine leaking out, just that tiny drop, which is normal. It's honestly really quick and easy. Now, as I mentioned before, with the Humira auto-injector, it took me 40 minutes per injection. I was hyperventilating, I was sobbing, I couldn't get myself to do it. I was pressing the pen so hard into my leg that I had bruises the next day. So if you're like, wow, like, she made that look really easy, it's because it was easy, I promise you. The needle was even less painful than the syringes that I get through Humira. I felt the initial poke, and it didn't hurt at all. The medicine did sting just a little bit. Also keep in mind that I did not put an ice cube on the spot because I wanted to report exactly how painful it was for me to you guys without the ice cube. So if you are worried about a little bit stinging or the needle poke, an ice cube would immediately solve that. You probably won't even feel it. But honestly, for someone that really, really struggled with the injector pen for Humira and was really, really nervous about switching to Simlandi, this was really, really easy. And I hope that this helped explain it to you and show you kind of that it wasn't so bad. So in conclusion, our Simlandi pen is pretty simple. The needle is inside, you can still see it. The needle does not move. for my friends that are scared of those auto injector pens, the needle is stationary. You just can't see it when it's pressed up against your skin, but you press it down, you'll feel the needle touch, you'll press it down even more, it'll be in your skin already, you don't have to worry about that needle part. That first click is the medicine injecting. The medicine did have a little bit of a kick to it, a little bit of a sting. It's nothing that us IBD folks cannot handle. We've been through worse. And as someone who quite literally had panic attacks with auto injectors before, this is a great compromise. It's still simple and easy, and it's kind of a combination of you control the needle speed, but this controls the medicine injection. Take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. We can handle this together. This video provided you some clarity on Simlandi. I know lots of us are switching over to it for insurance purposes and such, but please let me know if this helped. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll keep you guys updated on how it works for me. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day, and good luck.